was 14, a gray sedan pulled up alongside my little brother and me on our walk home from the bus stop, and I felt every hair on my arms stand up before I even understood why. Two men inside, maybe late 20s, one driving and one leaning out the passenger window with a smile that didn't match his eyes. They asked if we wanted a ride, said it looked like it was about to rain, said they knew our street. We didn't recognize either of them. I said no thanks, grabbed my brother's backpack strap and kept walking. The car crept forward at our exact pace instead of driving off. Come on, it's just up the road, the passenger said, and something in his tone had shifted from friendly to insistent in a way that made my stomach drop. My brother Ezra was 9. He looked up at me instead of at them, which told me he felt it too. I said, "We're almost home, we're fine," and picked up the pace. The car sped up to match us. That's when I stopped pretending this was a coincidence and grabbed Ezra's hand hard enough that he yelped. "Run," I said, and we cut across someone's front lawn toward the side street, the one without sidewalks, hoping the car couldn't follow as easily. It could. It rolled up onto the shoulder and kept pace with us the whole block, gravel crunching under tires, the passenger now hanging halfway out the window yelling for us to quit being little brats and just get in. Ezra was crying and running at the same time, which meant he kept stumbling, and every time he did, I had to half drag him upright without losing speed. I didn't want to lead them to our actual house. I'd read enough to know you're not supposed to show strangers where you live, but we were in the middle of a residential stretch with no stores, no gas station, nothing open, just houses with their blinds shut against the afternoon sun. My lungs were burning, and Ezra's hand was slick with sweat in mine, and the car was still there. Always there, 10 feet back no matter what we did. We ran out of options before we ran out of road. Our house was the next one on the left. I made the call in about half a second. Better to be trapped somewhere with a lock than out in the open with nothing. We sprinted up the driveway, and I fumbled the key twice before it turned, and we fell through the door, and I threw the deadbolt with hands that didn't feel like mine. Mom was at work, Dad was at work. It was just us, and outside, I heard the car doors open. Ezra dropped to the floor behind the couch, like that would help, sobbing into his sleeve. I heard footsteps on our front walk, unhurried, like they had all the time in the world, and that unhurried part scared me more than anything else had that whole afternoon. I peeked through the side window and saw both of them coming up the driveway, the driver holding something down at his side I couldn't identify. My mind went completely blank and then, weirdly, landed on the one thing in the house I actually knew how to use, my dad's old softball bat, signed by nobody, dented from years in the garage, propped by the coat closet where he always left it, just in case, a phrase I'd rolled my eyes at 100 times. I grabbed it. Ezra was begging me not to open the door, whispering that we should call 911 first, and normally he'd have been right, but I could already hear them trying the handle, and I made a decision I still can't fully explain, except that some instinct told me hesitation was worse than action. I threw the door open before they expected it, and stood in the frame with the bat cocked at shoulder height, both hands white-knuckled on the grip, and screamed for them to get off our property or I'd call the cops and swing at the same time. My voice cracked halfway through the sentence, and I didn't care. They froze. For one endless second, nobody moved, the driver's eyes flicking from me to the street to the neighbor's porch light that had just clicked on, probably from motion, probably meaning nothing, but it was enough. He grabbed his friend's arm and they backed off the porch fast, not quite running, but close to it, and peeled out of the driveway so hard the tires left a black streak on the concrete. I slammed the door and slid down it until I was sitting on the floor, and only then did I call 911, hands shaking so badly I had to say our address 3 times before the dispatcher understood me. Ezra crawled over and put his head on my shoulder and didn't let go until our parents got home. The police never found the car. I still keep that bat by my own front door, 17 years later, and I've never once needed to explain to anyone why.